3.5 does draw near, and so does the skill buffer Cerydra, who is a part of 3.5's second half, and today I'm here with the full build guide for Cerydra. This video will take you over an overview on her kit, Lightcone recommendations, relic and ornament recommendations, and also what relic stats to use. I will have a guide on every single 3.5 character. High Celine's Kafka are already out, you can check them out in the pinned comment. You are now watching the Cerydra one, and there will soon be one for Silverwolf. Cerydra's basic attack does wind damage based off her attack to one designated enemy. Her skill grants military merit to one designated ally character and gives Cerydra a point of charge. Charge is capped at 8 points. Once you reach 6, automatically will upgrade the character's military merit to the peerage state and will dispel their crowd control debuffs. The character with peerage also is considered to have military merit simultaneously. The character with peerage increases their crit damage for their dealt skill damage by 72% and also increases their all-type res pen by 10%, and triggers a coup de main when using their skill on enemy targets. After coup de main ends, consumes 6 points of charge to revert the peerage state to military merit. Her ultimate first gains 2 charges, then deals wind damage equal to 240% of her attack to all enemies. If no one on the field has military merit, it'll prioritize granting military merit to the character positioned first in the team lineup. Her talent increases the attack for the character with military merit by an amount equal to 24% of Cerydra's attack. When the character uses a basic attack or skill, Cerydra gains 1 charge. During coup de main, Cerydra cannot gain charge. After the character with military merit uses an attack, Cerydra additionally deals 1 instance of wind additional damage equal to 60% of her attack, and will trigger up to 20 times. The trigger count will reset every time Cerydra does use her ultimate, and military merit only takes effect on the most recent target, and when the target does change, Cerydra's charge is reset to 0. Her technique gives military merit to the character that was the one to actually attack the enemy going into battle. So let's say you do technique with everyone including Cerydra, and then you attack with Finon. Going into battle will put military merit on Finon without consuming a skill point. Her A2 increases Cerydra's crit damage by 18% for every 100 attack that does exceed 2000, up to a maximum of 360%. Her A4 increases her crit rate to 100%. When Cerydra's charge is below its maximum, she gains 1 charge when the character with military merit uses their ultimate and can trigger once per battle. Her A6, when using skill, will increase the speed by 20 for both Cerydra and the character you are giving military merit to, lasting for 3 turns, and when the character with military merit uses basic attack or a skill, regenerates 5 energy for Cerydra. Her E1 allows the character with military merit to ignore 16% of the target's defense when dealing damage, and if they have the military merit upgraded to peerage, then the character will additionally ignore 20% of the target's defense when dealing skill damage, and when Cerydra uses her skill, regenerates 2 energy for the designated ally character. Her E2 will increase the damage dealt by the character with military merit by 40%, and while a teammate on the field has military merit, Cerydra's damage dealt increases by 160%. Her E4 increases ultimate damage multiplier by 240%, and the E6 increases the character that has military merit's all-type res pen by 20%, and the multiplier for the additional damage triggered via military merit increases by 300%. When a teammate on the field has military merit, Cerydra's all-type res pen increases by 20%. When looking at what Lightcone to run, unfortunately, Cerydra doesn't have the greatest amount of options, but one of the best ones is obviously going to be her own signature Lightcone, which does provide the wearer a 64% increase to attack. After using ultimate to attack, regenerates 1 skill point. When the wearer uses their skill on one allied character, increases the skill damage dealt by this target by 54%. Very simple Lightcone, it increases the attack for the wearer, so Cerydra gets a big attack jump, which can further amplify the attack buff that she has in her base kit. Also makes it easier to get the full crit damage value in her bonus traces. So makes her attack easier to build, which will also further amplify her damage while also amplifying the character you are buffing's damage. At the same time, anytime Cerydra now uses her ultimate to attack enemies, which she does do with her ultimate, you get an extra skill point back, which could be good if you are ever low on skill points. And you also get a free 54% increase to skill damage for the person you do use your skill on, so you give someone military merit, they get the buff. That character will now also additionally gain a 54% increase to their skill damage, which is why this is her best, because she excels at buffing skill damage based characters. Another really good one is going to be a part of an event in 3.5, so if you're not going for a signature, definitely look out to use this Lightcone next. It increases the wearer's attack by 16%, after the wearer uses skill, increases attack by 8%, stacking up to 3 times. And when you do get an S5, it is a 32% increase to attack and a 16% increase to attack every time using skill that stacks up to 3 times. So starting off, it's not as good as her signature Lightcone for the stat stick, it's less of an attack as the signature gives 64%. So the base value is at half, but you can stack it up to 3 times 16, so 16 times 3 is 48%. 32 plus 48 is indeed 80%, which makes the overall attack buff going to be higher than the actual signature Lightcone. You just don't get the extra things that the signature Lightcone provides, such as giving a skill point and also more skill damage. This is going to just amplify the living hell out of her attack, making her easier to build, amplifying her attack buff as well, and is just a very simple Lightcone option to use, which would be the next option you do use if you don't have a signature Lightcone. And as I mentioned, it's going to be free, so it's going to be very accessible. Another Lightcone you can use is the Dance 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 Lightcone, which when the wearer uses their ultimate, all allies' actions are advanced forward by 16% at S1 and 24% at S5. This just helps you accelerate your rotations, potentially hit further action value breakpoints, and if you're not hitting extra action value breakpoints, it maybe let you act faster so you can refresh your skills faster, which could, in short, help your DPS get their buffs quicker, help Finon get to his ultimate quicker, help Anaxa act quicker so you can do a -1 setup at the same time. This Lightcone is just universally good on almost every single Harmony character, and that does apply true to Cerydra as well. So you are able to use this Lightcone to get a jump start on action value points, and speed up your rotations, or potentially even hit more breakpoints, as I did mention. If you are primarily pairing her with Anaxa, you can use Planetary Rendezvous, which after entering battle, if an ally deals the same type of damage as the wearer, damage dealt increases by 12%, and at S5 it's 24%. So in this case, they would have to be wind because Cerydra is wind, Anaxa is wind, so when you go into battle, Anaxa, for every social damage he is dealing, will get a 24% increase to his damage dealt. Very simple Lightcone, you just can only really use it with him because she doesn't really work out with any other wind DPS. So with Anaxa specifically, this is an option you can use. And if you do want to look to her personal damage a bit more, Poised to Bloom is another option you can use. Increases the wearer's attack by 60% upon entering battle if 2 or more characters follow the same path. Then these characters' crit damage increases by 16% and abilities of the same type cannot stack. And when you have an S5, both values become 32%. So the attack stat stick is going to be good for not only her buffing but also her personal damage. You just need to make sure someone else on the team is going to be the same path as her, or you're running the other 2 characters as the same path as well. If you're pairing up with Anaxa, that means you'd have to have another erudition character, or if you're focusing on Cerydra herself, the most common case would be a second Harmony character. So if you have Cerydra plus Sunday on the team, that can proc this and will also increase his crit damage, which can amplify his buff. Same thing applies with Sparkle and Bronia. So you just want to make sure you have 2 characters of the same path on the team, and this will amplify her personal damage while also slightly helping her actual buffing capabilities with the attack percent increase. For relic sets, there are 2 primary options you can use. The most common one is going to be the Relieved Ordeal set. 2-piece increases speed by 6%, and the 4-piece when using skill or ultimate on one ally character increases the ability target's crit damage by 18% for 2 turns and stacks up to 2 times. You do want to build Cerydra with speed, so the extra 6% speed you are getting from the 2-piece is going to be very beneficial in building her. And her skill does indeed target one allied character, so you are able to stack this up. It's not going to be as fast as the other characters that are able to target one allied character in both their skill and ultimate, such as Sunday. But you will be able to stack this up because you do it once, you get 1 stack for 2 turns, and then when it becomes the turn again, you can do it again, you have the full stack, and as long as you do the setup in the right time and keep refreshing it, or in the case where you just stack it up twice with Finon, then you go into his ult, he'll have it for the rest of the ultimate. It's still very simple to use on her, as it's just a really universal set on these characters that do have a form of targeting one ally character, and as she is able to do that, this does become one of her best in slots. Another one you can use is 4-piece of the Eagle set. 2-piece increases wind damage by 10%, and as she is a wind character, this does benefit her damage. 4-piece, after the wearer uses their ultimate, their action is advanced forward by 25%. This will just make it to where you can further accelerate her own rotation, so you can get her to act quicker, to use your skill more, which can get more core flames for Finon. Maybe refresh buffs later on if you need it. If you have a really high speed setup, you can end up having something like 3 turns within a cycle. Obviously, be sure you're hitting breakpoints that actually matter and let you actually do that, because if you're just running this and it expires your buffs and you don't have enough skill points and it's kind of just being a detriment, then you're not really going to want to use the set, obviously. But if you are able to hit thresholds where it does help you, or at least accelerate your rotations to get Finon and all quicker, or apply/reset her buffs more, then the 4-piece of the Eagle set is another fantastic option. Past that is going to be combining 2-piece and 2-piece. The only real one you really want to do is 2-piece speed and 2-piece speed. So that would be 2-piece Hackerspace and 2-piece Relieved Ordeal, or 2-piece of one of those with 2-piece Warrior Goddess. You could also do 2-piece speed and 2-piece of one of the attack percent increasing sets, so the Hero set, you can do the Wind Soaring set, Prisoner, or Musketeers, so you combine any of those with Hyperspace, Relic Ordeal, or Warrior Goddess. Those would really be the only things that do benefit because you do want to build her quite speedy, so the extra speed from the 2 pieces would help. And the only other real thing you can get to help amplify her buff would be attack percent, so that's why you'd run a 2-piece attack percent. When it comes to planet ornaments, you can really use any single supportive set you do want. One of the best ones right now is Lushaka with 5% energy regen rate and 12% attack for the character positioned first in the team lineup. Her best teammates are Anaxa and Phynon, and both of them would love the attack percent, especially someone like Anaxa. So that's why this is going to be the most common one you can use. If you're pairing her with Anaxa specifically, you can also use Penacony for the same 5% energy regen rate and also 10% damage for anyone that is the same type as the wearer. So in this case, it would be Anaxa. Just be sure you're pairing her with him because again, that's really the only one she is paired with when it comes to the same type. Because otherwise, it's really just 5% energy regen rate. And at that point, you're better off just using something like Lushaka. You can also use Broken Keel for the 10% effect res and 10 crit damage for your entire team if you do reach 30% or higher effect res. And you also can use Ageless for 12% max HP, which helps a bit with tankiness, and 8% attack for everyone when you do reach 120 speed or higher, which she will have no problem with doing, and a built Cerydra will usually always want a lot more than that. So really, you can just use any supportive set that you do want. Lushaka overall is going to be the best. Spawnwalk is an option you can use for Phynon specifically, just because when you do go into battle, you are able to put the buff on Phynon right away, but you are going to be able to use it again. So if you do have her act first in battle, you can use the skill again, just so you can regenerate more core flames for Phynon. As this set does give you 5% energy regen rate as well, and gives you a 40% advance forward when you do enter battle with 120 speed or higher. So in most cases, you will outspeed everyone on the team. You go into the battle, you have the technique active, so you give Phynon the core flame stacks by just going in, and then you get to act again and just let her use the skill on Phynon again to generate more core flame stacks. The main stats you want to run are as followed. For the body, you want to run attack percent. For the feet, you mainly will be running speed, but you can run attack percent boots. You just need to make sure you get enough substats to where you do account for the 20 speed she does get in battle with her buff. So ideally, you want to aim to get at least 114 just so you can get 134 in battle, letting you hit breakpoint. But in most cases, you will be running speed because you want to stack as much speed as possible on Cerydra, so speed boots are usually going to be better. For the orb, you want attack percent, and for the link rope, you can do energy regen rate or attack percent. If you're struggling to hit 4k attack, then you would be using an attack percent rope. But if you do hit 4k attack, you then can use energy regen rate for more ultimates. For the substats, first, prioritize getting attack to 4k as that does cap out the trace for her crit damage. So getting to 4k attack will not only give her the full effect of her bonus trace, but also make the attack buff that she does give to the person with military merit a actual good buff. As the more attack you have on her, the more of the buff you would be giving. Past that would be focusing on more speed. Again, if you are running attack percent boots, you want to get to 114 at least just so you can get to 134. If you can get more than that, then it is ideal. If you're doing that plus a Von Walk setup, then you have to get to 120 as you need the speed before going into battle. If you're running speed boots, then ideally getting it to 140.1, so in battle that translates to 160.1, effectively also giving you a hyper speed. And if you're able to go further than that, let's say maybe even reaching something around the 160 range, plus the 20 speed you get so you can get up to 180 or whatever, then it can be even better. With speed boots, if you are able to reach 183.4 speed in battle and you are running the Eagle set, one Eagle proc will let you reach up to 3 turns into a cycle for the first cycle. So that can be extremely good for whatever team you're using her on. If you're using her with Phynon specifically, then you really don't have to aim for that because by then you'll probably already be in Phynon's ultimate. But for someone like Anaxa, that can be great for not only helping you with skill points, refreshing the buff, or whatever. You can also get more energy back to do more damage. So for Eagle set specifically, getting that speed is actually very much doable, as you would only need to get 163.4, and then with her buff into battle, that would become 183.4, and one Eagle proc would let you get the full 3 turns within a cycle. And past that, you can just get more attack percent and even survivability if you do want, because more attack percent or even flat attack rolls will further amplify her buff. Past 4k, you're not going to get any more crit damage. You've already kept out her actual trace, but you can still further amplify the buff because it is based off of Cerydra's attack. And more survivability will make it to where she doesn't die in battle, so more effect res can be very beneficial. Another priority would be if you're running Broken Kill to get 30% effect res if you are running it. But even without it, getting more effect res would make it to where you don't get CC'd, so that would also be good. And that does wrap up the full Cerydra build guide. I do hope you guys found the video helpful. If you did, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of Cerydra content. And I'll see you later. Peace out.